I'm shooting not for the skinniest version of me. I'm not. I want to be the healthiest version of me. Hey y'all, it's Ben. How the heck are you? How was your week? Hope you had a happy, healthy one. My week was both happy and healthy. Although my foot pain continues to be a problem with me, I may be one step closer to figuring out what's wrong with it. Mounjaro may not be the culprit with my foot pain. You see, you guys, I had my neurologist appointment finally this morning. After 3 months of waiting after my referral, I finally had my appointment today. And my neurologist, pretty awesome, pretty awesome. I went in there and I was talking to him, and he said that he's been seeing quite often people developing some weird pains in some weird areas. And he said the lower extremities, like the legs and the feet and the ankles, etc., are the worst spots that people get it. Not the worst. It's the most prevalent spots when this does occur. My neurologist suggested to me today that the problem could be that my A1C dropped so rapidly that it's causing some problems. He says he's beginning to see this lately. It's not something that was so common in the past, because a lot of the drugs of the past would not lower your A1C in such a drastic and immediate manner, such as Mounjaro does. My A1C, you guys, if you'll remember, when I first started on Mounjaro, I was completely diabetic. My A1C was 10.6. My blood glucose, 475. Not good at all. Within 3 months of being prescribed Mounjaro and being on Mounjaro, my A1C had dropped from that 10.6 to 5.4. 10.6 to 5.4, that's a big, big drop. And my neurologist seems to think that that might have something to do with my foot pain, which he now says he's convinced about 80% that it's neuropathy that's been aggravated by a quick drop in A1C. You would think that the opposite would happen. You drop your A1C and your neuropathy immediately gets better. And that's true if you're doing it at a steady, if your A1C is coming down at a steady pace. It normally gives your body time to adjust to all the differences. It was explained to me by him that when your A1C drops that dramatically in such a short period of time, your body doesn't have the time to keep up with these changes, and situations like what I'm getting with my foot can occur. It's not very common, it's pretty rare, but it does happen, and it's becoming more common more and more people are being put on these GLP-1s. He said it's not just Mounjaro that will do it. Other medications as well that drop your A1C so quickly have the possibility to aggravate a neurological neuropathy situation. So basically what he's saying is, I had neuropathy in my feet. The Mounjaro dropped my A1C so fast that it instigated some problems with my neuropathy, right? It inflamed it. Basically, you're poking the bear, right? I don't understand all the facts, and I'm not sure I understand all the science yet. In fact, I understand almost none of it. My appointment was pretty quick today. He seemed to know exactly what he was looking for. So what are my next step with getting this foot pain under control? My neurologist thinks that it's very attainable and something that he'll be able to help me with. He's confident. In fact, he got me in tomorrow for an EMG, and that is where they hook up electrodes and stuff to your feet and stuff, and they simulate and they give you electrical stimulus to figure out how your foot's responding to stuff. Basically what they're doing is they're mapping your nerves, right? And they're trying to determine which nerves are damaged and which ones aren't, and how bad that damage really is. I'll be able to tell you more about this next week, you guys. My appointment's not till tomorrow, but my neurologist was so concerned that he put me at the head of the line. He was a little ticked off that I had waited 3 months for this appointment. He said, you should have been here 3 months ago. And I said, I know, this is the fastest that they could get me in, the fastest they could get me the referral and get me an appointment. And he wasn't very happy with that. In fact, when I was done with my appointment today, he walked me out to the front, and he had the lady at the front schedule me that EMG appointment, and he made sure that it's immediate. I go in tomorrow. He is backed up, you guys. I mean, his schedule is full, but he got me in somehow tomorrow. That's how concerned he was about getting my foot pain under control. He wasn't happy to hear that I'm losing sleep over it. And if you guys have been watching my channel, you'll know that I've been losing some sleep over it. Now, I quit Mounjaro and it started getting better. I explained this to him. I said, when I stopped, my foot started getting better, but it only got better to a certain point, and it's still waking me up at night. Some weeks are worse than others. This last week has been horrible. Horrible. Out of the 7 nights, you guys, this last week, I probably slept all the way through the night, one of them. Most nights I've been woken up around 4 in the morning, and a few nights I've been woken up 1 o'clock and then again at 4. So it's been an awful week as far as foot pain goes, but I think we are one step closer to figuring out what that problem is. He believes that he'll be able to help me out. He believes that he'll be able to help me control this neuropathy, this foot pain, and he does believe that it's neuropathy. What's probably not the case is that Mounjaro is the sole culprit in my foot pain. It's not like it aggravated some response or something along like that. It's just that it dropped my A1. It's so effective. It dropped my A1C so fast that now I'm having these neuropathy problems that he's seen in the past, and he's seeing more and more every day. So if you guys are out there getting pains in weird places like your feet, like me, or in your ankles or in your legs or in your extremities, he says it can often happen in the wrists and the fingers and stuff like that, hips, other joint areas. Anywhere you have a joint, you can have this problem. But the most common place is the lower extremities, legs and feet and toes and things of that nature. So why am I happy? I'm happy because I think I might have an answer finally. There's nothing worse than being sick and not knowing what the cause is, or being injured and not being able to repair that injury. And that's kind of what I've been facing these last, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, right? That's what I've been going through. He believes that he'll be able to get me to a situation where I'm able to sleep again all through the night with no problems whatsoever. But this is going to be a situation that I'm going to probably have to treat for the rest of my life. At least be cognizant that I've got the problem and, eat accordingly and take care of myself accordingly. Well, we've already determined that I'm making lifestyle changes in order to be healthier. So that's no problem with me. And I'm not afraid of, and I'm not opposed to making more lifestyle changes to get even healthier. I want to tell you guys about a dream I had the other day before I forget. Now, keep in mind, I've never been much of a runner, but I used to run, right? I used to run because, I was in the military and you had to maintain a certain shape. My shape was mostly round, but you had to stay kind of in shape a little bit where you could pass the easy physical tests that the military used to administer back in the day when I was in. I hear tell that they've gotten a much harder lately, and they needed to because it was pretty easy. I think I needed to run 1.5 miles in like 12 minutes. And if you can't run 1.5 miles in 12 minutes, there's probably something, probably shouldn't be in the military. I want to talk more about my neuropathy appointment and stuff like that, but first, let's get my checks out of the way. Now, last week, you guys know, my A1C, not my A1C, my blood sugar, right? I've been taking my blood sugar readings daily for the last, many weeks. I've been taking it daily so I can come up with a weekly average. You guys will remember my doctor said, since I came off the Mounjaro, that I needed to keep very close tabs on my glucose levels. And once I hit a weekly average of 140 or higher on my glucose testing, that I needed to probably be put on another diabetic medication. So far, so good. Last week, we were getting pretty close. Last week, I was up to 138. So last week, I was like, probably next week, I'm going to have to be making an appointment for another chat with my doctor about diabetes. But this week's results are lower. So I went from 138 last week to 126 this week. 126, is that right? Yes, 126 this week. So that's big improvement, you guys. And I haven't really changed anything. I've been eating the same as I've always been eating lately, that is. And we need to have another video about that, about exactly how I'm eating and how I'm maintaining stuff. Let's talk about that later. Let's find out where my weight is, right? So I'm happy with my blood glucose level this week. It means that I don't have to go back on any diabetes medication. And I'm also happy with my neurology appointment. He seems to think that I may be able to go back on Mounjaro. Probably going to have to start at the lower dose again. If in fact my diabetes comes back to the point where I need to. So I was happy to hear that it's doubtful that Mounjaro is completely the cause of my foot pain and that it is a component to that, but properly administered and properly controlled, we can overcome this situation. So happy to hear that Mounjaro may be an option for me in the future should I need it. For right now, I don't, based on my blood sugar numbers and my doctor's limit of 140 or higher to put me on something else. So that's good news. Let's see if we can keep the good news rolling. You remember last week, I was so happy because my weight had gone from 149.6 up to 153. I was so happy to gain that weight because really, I'm a little too skinny for my size, right? Just a little bit. I mean, I don't feel good at this weight. You'll remember that I reset my goal now with consultation with my doctor from 155 to 165. We both feel that that's going to be a good weight for me to maintain, and we both felt that 150 was a little bit too small for me. Let's find out where I was. I was so happy last week that I had actually gained weight, and that is just the weirdest thing to come out of my mouth, that I was happy that I was able to gain weight, right? I'm hoping that I was able to gain another 2 pounds this week. I did cut back a little bit on my eating, just because I gained 3 pounds last week, and I feel like that's a lot of weight to gain in 1 week when I'm this close to my goal. So I was at 153 last week. I decided to just cut it back just a little bit. I'm hoping I'm going to weigh in today at 154. 155 would be okay. I was telling you guys how happy I was to have gained 3 pounds last week. I know. That is the weirdest crap coming out of my mouth. Happy about gaining weight. I was happy because I'd gotten down. My first plan was 150 to 160. That's where I wanted to be. When I got down to 150, I actually got down to 149. But when I got down to that weight, I realized I just don't feel good at this lower weight. I don't feel like I look good. My wife doesn't like me being this skinny. I need a little bit of meat on my bones, right? And my doctor agreed I probably could gain another 5 pounds and be a little bit healthier because of it. So that's what we want to do, you guys. I'm shooting not for the skinniest version of me. I'm not. I want to be the healthiest version of me, right? And if my doctor were to say, Ben, you need to weigh 200 pounds to be the healthiest version of you, and I believed him, I would gain that weight immediately, as fast as I could, because I have discovered my health is the most important thing, right? My health is my wealth. Without my health, I've got nothing. So we're going to do it. We're going to get healthy again. We're going to make lifestyle changes. And you guys mark my words. 4 months from now, I'm going to be jogging. I may not be running, but I'll be jogging. And I may not be jogging for very far, but if I jog further than the end of my driveway, that'll be the most I've jogged in years. So I'm planning on working on that. That's my next lifestyle change that I'm going to be working on, is working out. The thing that's been stopping me is this foot neuropathy. And my doctor does think that it is neuropathy. There for a while I was thinking maybe it's not neuropathy, maybe it's something else. He thinks it definitely is neuropathy, and he thinks it's aggravated. I keep talking about this. We need to check my weight, you guys. Last week I weighed in at 153. I was happy. I'm hoping I gained another pound or two. Let's see where we're at this week, and then we can talk about where we're going to go from here. All right, you guys, here we go. Drum roll, please. I know you're doing it in your heads. Just joking. All right, here we go. 154, 155. Let's go. All right, 152.8. 152.8, you guys. Okay, so I didn't get up to my goal. I lost 0.2 pounds. Not bad. 152.8, lost 0.2 pounds this week. I was hoping that I would gain up to 154, 155-ish. But I'll take it, right? I'll take it. Pretty happy about my blood sugar this week. Pretty happy about my weight. I mean, I'm not thrilled. I would have liked to have gained a couple of pounds, honestly, but I'm okay with staying the same weight as long as I'm not losing anymore. So let's talk about my neurology appointment today. Now, a new thing I'd never heard of before, and I can't believe nobody mentioned it in the comments, because my neurologist says it's becoming more and more common. And I haven't really seen anything on any of these vlogs, and I watch a few of them, as many new ones as I can to figure out if anybody's got the same problem as I do. Listen to me get all wordy. Anyway, I wanted to talk about this new term, TIND, T-I-N-D, and it's treatment-induced neuropathy of diabetes. And it's a weird situation. It happens when you're too successful at lowering your A1C in a short amount of time. If you lower it too quickly in a short amount of time, you can develop this, TIND, they call it. And generally speaking, according to the science that I've read, there's a couple of different opinions on this matter. And I'm not, and they're opinions, right? So take it for what it's worth. But they say that a higher than 2% drop in 3 months of your A1C can really bring about this situation, this TIND. They say 60% of the people that do that develop this TIND thing, where it makes your neuropathy worse, or you can even develop neuropathy if you've never even had it before, if you drop your A1C too quickly. And it's a weird thing. It's something about how your body adjusts because you're bottoming out. Your body's thinking that you're going into hypoglycemic shock or something. And I don't know. There's this whole science to it. I'm not going to pretend to be a scientist or even to have done all the research, you guys. I just found out about this like a couple hours ago. So I'm telling you what I know about it, and then the rest of this week I'm going to do a lot of research. If you want to come back next week to watch for corrections, subscribe to my channel, because I do this vlog every Tuesday, or at least every week. I do it every week. They say higher than 2% drop in your A1C in less than a 3 month period of time. People have 60% of the people that do that will develop this TIND. So that's weird. I'd never even thought that being too successful at dropping, weight or A1C or any of that stuff could have detrimental side effects, but it can. So that might be something that medical science will develop over time with GLP-1s. I think as a doctor, I'd want to be cognizant of this fact, knowing how much pain it can cause, right? Since I've gone through it with my foot, I know. I probably would have done things differently. I would have slowed down definitely my titration. I don't know if I said that right. It's the first time I've ever said it. Titration, I don't know. I'd try to slow that down a little bit on going up. I wouldn't be so fast to move up to the next dose, is what I'm trying to say. Try to even things out, because my A1C did come down at an incredibly fast pace. 10.6 to 5.4 in 3 months that's a pretty significant drop, and unusual too from everything I've been watching and hearing. Most people don't have the success with the blood sugar stuff that I did. And many people don't have the same success that I have with the weight loss. Just about all of them have weight loss success, but not the same, not as quickly as I did. This is one drug that really worked well for me, I must say, and I was happy to hear from my neurologist today that it may not have been, that it won't be the drug that will have caused it, most likely. The drug will have, let me rephrase this. The drug will have caused it because the drug worked too well. It dropped my A1C too quickly. And this is a new thing that science is just figuring out. So I'll bet that they account for that in future people that are getting prescribed GLP-1s, the more and more doctors find out about this, the more that they'll be careful and warn their patients about this kind of thing. Had I been warned about this situation when it first started occurring, I would have mentioned it to my doctor. I would have been looking for it, is what I'm trying to say, and I would have brought it up with my doctor. Instead, I just assumed that it was something else, right? What else can go wrong? I was having one of those moments. We've all had those moments. Don't have too many of those moments. Try to have more moments this week, you guys, of success, right? Don't worry about it if you have a failure. We all do. For all you guys that have commented and given me encouragement and offered me help, I want to say thank you so much. You guys have been awesome. Some of you guys have been telling me for video after video in the comment section, you need to get on B12. You need to get on B12. Well, I didn't even mention it to the neurologist today, but he sent me home with orders to pick some up, B12 and also vitamin D3, 1,000 milligram each of those. So he ordered me to pick those up and start taking them once daily. So that's what I've started already. And I should have listened to you guys in the comments, but I didn't. Sorry, I should have listened to you. The neurologist backs you guys up though. Thanks for those recommendations. Anybody else out there with neuropathy or diabetes while you're on this stuff? Those are some good suggestions for you over the counter. But make sure anytime you start a vitamin or any other kind of medication with any medication, you need to talk to your doctor about it. I know it seems silly with vitamins, but they do change the way pharmaceuticals can work on a body. Just fair warning anyway, guys. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.